Life in Qeghnilen has always been hard. There are times when there's lots to eat and times when there is little. The secret is to store up in times when there's lots. Baby cradles and birch bark baskets have been used for thousands of years to hold babies and store food. People use birch bark for emergency cups out in the woods. Also used to cook in the birch baskets too. I'll show you how to do that later. Every young Dena'ina girl learn how to make a birch baskets. I learned from my grandma, and my family learned from me. I start out by boat looking for good birch trees. I look for birch trees that have a few branches, few knots, and good bark. Bark on these trees is too thick. It will be hard to bend and it'll crack if I fold it. The black spots tell me it's thick bark, so I don't bother with this tree. The bark on these trees is too thin and it'll be easy to tear. The bark on these trees is just right. I always skin a tree by his belly. The bark on most trees, it's thicker on one side than the other. I start peeling the thin part. That way the thick part will be bottom of the basket and the sides will come out even, not lopsided. The belly can be any side of the tree. If my grandkids don't know, I just tell them to peel below where you want the bark and look at it. Some trees has no belly. Then you can start it in anywhere. I cut down belly of the tree as far as I can. Then I peel the tree. It's very easy. May, June, and early July. I peel the trees in fall, but they are stingy for their bark. It takes a long time to peel just one tree. We use dry sticks to poke up and down to peel it. I peel birch one at a time by bringing in blocks of wood into the house and throwing them out, then peeling them. It's no harder than fall time once they thawed out. Peeling the trees doesn't kill them because we only take the outer bark. That part of the tree will be black with the rest of his life, but he won't die. Spruce trees die when we peel them for smokehouses and fish wraps, but not birch trees. I always think not tiny for the bark when I am done. We didn't grow the bark, and we have to be thankful for everything. Once I have enough bark, I go home. Often I put bark in a plastic trash bag to keep it from drying on the way home. I have to fold the bark right away or it won't dry. Dry bark hard to bend and soaking doesn't help once it's dry. Long ago, sometimes we flatten bark in a shitty plate and put weight on top of it to keep it from curling until we could fold it. Once the bark is folded, it can wait a long time. Next, I get spruce root. I look for the place that have small trees, long and slim. Trees like Christmas tree have short root with lots of small branches. Long, slim roots, that's what we want. I test the branches of the tree. If the branches is tough, the roots will be tough too. If the branch break easily, the roots will break. I like place with moss. When there's grass, the roots are hard to dig. Sometimes cotton and alder roots are mixed in with spruce root. I can tell by looking, but if my family can't tell, I tell them smell or taste them. Roots go all over. I fall in and follow them. Grandma used a stick like this to dig roots. I use the hammer now. I coil it and hang it so I can find it when I go home. After I put moss back into place. When I finally have enough root, I bring them home to clean them. There is 3 ways to clean the spruce roots. Old-timer used to chop the willows or small birch, and then they split the stump with an axe. They pull the roots through the split like this. The bark comes off the root. Another way, we used to clean roots with the split stick like this. We split it and tie it back together again. We pull the root with a split and squeeze to get the bark off. This is easy to clean. Nowadays, I use a hammer like this or a knife if it's real hard, like in the fall. We always get enough roots in the summer and fall because ground is frozen all winter. Long ago, we used to make a ball from the bark. That was our good toy. Sometimes people get root from the bank and washed away. It's the only way to get root when the ground is frozen. When the roots is dry, they can always soak up and get soft again. Sometimes people get a willow root from sandbars. Those roots are okay too, but not as good as spruce. Cottonwood and alder roots are no good at all. I think not the tiny for roots. Old-timers never forgot to do this. Some people thank the birch and willows, but Grandma taught me to thank the Creator who made them. Birch bark alone is not strong, so we double the bark at the top. We put willows or high bush cranberry stalks around the rim. Lash them all together with the spruce roots. They work together to make a whole basket strong. I look for long, slim willows that won't break. I test them before bringing them home. When there's lots of moose, they spoil the willows and they eat them before they get long enough. Sometimes I remove the bark from the willows and sometimes I don't. First I split the willows, then I put them around the rim of the basket with the clothespin. I make sure the splice on one side is opposite splice on the other side. I start to split with a knife. I continue to split, stirring it by pressure. If one side gets too thick, I bend that side hard on the straight and thin side, and the fiber go across at the thin side. The way demonstrated here is the best way for the beginners to learn. To split the root, I do the same thing. I start with a knife. The many times root shows me where it wants to split. I do the same thing in stirring the split, stressing a thick side and straighten the thin one. Once we get good splitting roots, we hold one side in our mouth. We hold the other side with one hand and stir the split the other hand, feeling the split as it goes along. When the root is too big, we split it again like this, not like this. I put the roots in the water until I'm ready to use them. We double the bark around the top like this. It's very important the green goes sideways, especially on the end, like this. Not like this, or they will tear. Now we're ready to start lashing. Once everything's in a place, I start lashing. I make holes with an awl. I make these all from the caribou horn and the nail. Small screwdriver, round to the point, works too. I start lashing like this. Then I go around the basket, trying to make stitches, same distance apart. I put double bark in place as I go. On fancy baskets, people make stitches really close together, but this makes the barks weak. I make my stitches about this far apart. It's strong and it doesn't weaken the bark. When I have to tie the roots, I always use this knot. I tie one thick end to thin end. I always bend the thick one like this and use the thin end to go around it. When I get to the end, the lashing of the basket, I cut the loose ends. Sometimes I go back and make an X out of the lashing using the same hole. This looks good, but it isn't much stronger. Every basket is different because all trees are different. I think not so tiny for the material I use to make the baskets. Baskets make a good gift because people cherish them.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Long ago, people couldn't live without a birch bark basket and baby cradles. Old-timers used to make emergency cups out in the woods. They peel the birch tree and follow the bark. They pin the corners with sticks and they drink tea in the cup. Flavor of the birch makes the tea taste so much better. Old-timers cook in a birch bark basket. Heat the rocks in the fire. They use white rock because the black rock shoots when it gets hot. I put water and fish in the basket while I'm waiting for rocks to heat. When rocks is hot enough, they quickly dip each one in another container of water to get the soot off. Then they put it in the soup. They took the cold rocks out and put the hot ones in. They kept doing this until the water boiled and the fish was cooked. Took a long time to cook in the basket. That's why people don't do it anymore, but that's how we did it. My grandma showed me when I was little. Fish is delicious. Birch basket adds flavor. I teach lots of people how to make baskets, but not many people make them. Putting baskets together isn't hard, but gathering materials takes a long time. Thank you, Natdal Tani, all you're giving us out in the woods.